I love my cookie. My cookie. Me, me, me. I love my cookie. My cookie so pretty.
Did you know Rover was a reference to the movie Night on the Galactic Railroad? The movie is about death. Rover is a special character in the Animal Crossing series. His job varies in each game, but his original role was to set up the playable character. Despite his name, which is usually connected with dogs, he is a cat and is very friendly and hospitable towards the playable character and others. His role in Animal Forest and Animal Crossing is to set up the game for the first time by setting the time and date, the player and the town in which the player lives. In his first appearance, Rover meets the player on the train, approaching them to give a predicted time and date and asking if it is correct. He soon drums up a conversation by sitting opposite the player and asking questions to determine their gender and appearance, as well as asking where the player is going and setting up a house for them to stay in by talking to his friend Tom Nook. Soon after this, the train arrives at the player's town. The player can also meet Rover again when traveling to another town, though he will not ask questions to the player. Rover does not play a main part in Wild World. Instead, he is replaced by Cap'n, who drives the taxi. However, Rover does appear in the Roost, where the player can talk to him. Rover will say things about the player's town, such as how he has a soft spot for it. He will ask the player if they have traveled anywhere for a kick, and he will comment about how he rode on the trains a lot, but that he was always so lonely. He will also ask if the player has seen a suspicious-looking cat, Blanca. He sets up tag mode, which allows anonymous bottle mail to be sent to the town and to the beach. Rover returns to his previous role like in Animal Crossing. He meets the player on the bus driven by Cap'n and asks questions to determine the gender and town name of the player. He also appears at the startup of the game, asking if the time and date is correct and who is going to be playing the game out of 4 saved players, as well as other options. He also appears on the bus the first time the player goes into the city. In New Leaf, Rover plays the same role as he did in Animal Crossing and City Folk. Rover will be on the same train as the player and asks the player questions that determine their gender, the time and date, their name, and the town they are going to, New Leaf by default. He will also state that he hasn't done this much traveling by train since 2002, which is a reference to the fact that he hasn't appeared on a train in-game since 2002, when Animal Crossing was released. He also is seen on the train a second time if a civilian profile in a town moves out, or a mayor imports their save from a retail hard copy to a digital version. Yet when the player starts the game thereafter, Isabelle greets them, not Rover. Rover is a playable character in Amiibo Festival, available when the Rover Amiibo is scanned on the Wii U. Sometimes when the player playing as Rover lands on an event square in the Amiibo Festival board game mode, a random event specifically related to Rover may appear. In New Horizons, Rover is replaced in the character creation role by Timmy and Tommy, but he still makes an appearance during the May Day event at the beginning of May. In that event, the player can receive a free May Day ticket from Tom Nook and travel to an island with a specially built maze. Rover can be found at the end of the maze, where he presents the player with the Rover's briefcase item as a reward. He explains that while he usually travels by train, he has recently been riding planes between various islands, and Tom Nook invited him to the May Day Tour Island to create the maze and give the player a prize. After completing the maze again the next year, Rover will be surprised that the player met him again and mail the player his photo the next day. Rover's amiibo can also be scanned into Photopia, and afterwards his poster can be purchased from the Nook stop. Since the Nature Day update, trying to invite Rover to the campsite will yield a message where he will say he is busy on another faraway island. In Happy Home Paradise, Rover can be invited as a client via his amiibo after becoming a famous designer. Like in Animal Crossing, Happy Home Designer, Rover has no required theme to his house. In Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Rover will occasionally host a garden event, when the player can plant seasonal flowers and catch rare butterflies near them. For the captured butterflies, players will get rewards, including Rover-style furniture.
Rover